Thank you. I want more later. You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in Northport, Florida. I've got very special guests in the house tonight. I really want everyone to pay attention and share the video as much as possible. Really reach out to people right now that are able to watch on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I've got Wayne Saladay on the show. I also have Mayor Pete Emmerich in the house and his confidant,
former Mayor Chris Hanks.
Former Mayor Chris Hanks, who just happened to be out on the roads, really saving people's lives today. So I really want to bring Pete Emmerich on real quick because we do have some breaking news right now, don't we, on Northport?
Not really breaking news. It's we're working on keeping, main goal right now is life safety. So we're out there looking for people that may not be able to contact anybody. We're doing boat patrols, heavy vehicle patrols out in different areas. People may not have, we know the cell phone service is very shoddy. Texting is very, very tough out here. The whole city has been touched by Ian and its devastation. And you go to different areas, some areas we knew would flood, which like the estates, but it's never flooded like it's flooded this time. We've had other communities that they're doing boat rescues by citizens because that's off of the McKibben area. And that has been touched, probably the worst I've ever seen it. And I've been here in 40 years. It's a very tough time right now, and life safety and recovery and rescue right now is the key. We've got a lot of stuff because of the water that may be collapsing with our infrastructure. I have been in touch with our senators, our congressmen, our governor has reached out to me, and I've talked with him. I've talked with our state reps, James Buchanan, Marco Rubio. I mean, everybody has called and said, hey, what can we do? And they are putting all resources into our hands. FPL is here. They're on the ground. They're fixing power. Power is being restored. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but certain areas are getting fixed. So that's progress. With the water tables and stuff like that, we were hoping we were at the crest. But right now, if you see water seeping in, there may be some other water coming on from the sloughs up north and coming down because of the rainfall that we've tried to hold and get rid of. But a lot of the areas were even. There's nowhere for this water to go. So if you start seeing water and you start seeing it to rise, that's your ticket to say, maybe I need to get out of here and plan to do so. We don't have anything that indicates that we're going to have major flash flooding like has been talked about. That has not been confirmed. But do not take that off the table because Mother Nature's in charge here. We could go to sleep tonight and get 8 inches of rain. We don't know what Mother Nature's bringing. So the best thing to do is be prepared and take care of yourselves. Be kind to your neighbors because everybody's going through this at the same time. We have great partnerships going on right now with the county. National Guard is here. American Red Cross is here. We're coordinating with getting supplies and needs. And again, that's where it goes to where I get with our legislators up above us. We have been guaranteed monies that we are ground zero to where all these supplies and necessities are coming. We just have to get through the first few days to be able to set up the areas to where we can go ahead and disperse water and food. Everybody is staged and ready to go. We are just not safe enough with our power lines being down to where we can invoke that at this time. So with that, we're as prepared as possible. We're working 24/7. We're trying to get everybody's needs met at this point. but it is not an overnight fix. We could be fixing things for the next few months. So we're trying to get everything as good as we can in the time being. We have never, and we haven't yet, given an order to evacuate the city of Northport. That was never given. I just want to put that out there. It has all been under voluntary notices. So if you're an individual, again, like I said, if you're seeing water and it's coming, you may want to pack up and go, especially if you've already been underwater one time. I know some areas have, and it's receded, but we don't, again, we don't know what Mother Nature is going to bring.
Let's talk a little bit about the closed road signs in Northport. Is there a real reason to have those right now?
Well, yeah, it's like they're closed. Don't drive on them.
And
That's pretty much common sense.
it is. But what happens if people continue to drive on some of these waterway bridges that are compromised almost to half deterioration at this point?
Well, if they're at half deterioration, guess what? They're going to be at full deterioration. And I'd hate to be in that individual in that car when that thing finally goes and gets swept down the river, especially if I'm an older couple or whatever. I may not be able to get out of my car.
So I'm going to say this because, you know, it's my show and I'm on the air, and I'm just going to say, hey, idiots that are out there, stop being stupid, because I want you to step back for a second and imagine the drivers that drove by me. One was delivering drugs. That's what he said. I don't know what type of drugs he was delivering. The other one was, I wanted to take my Jeep out and see what was going on. The other guy was going to bring a backhoe across that bridge that was half gone. So listen, there's truly into the Salford area, there's truly one entry point, correct?
Yeah.
And the only entry point is the partially blown out bridge on Price Boulevard. The truth of the matter is, if you continue to watch people drive that, citizens who aren't driving it should be outraged with the idiots that are driving it, because emergency services are critical. You're not. Right now, if you stay put, you're going to be fine, and you have emergency services that can get to you. If that bridge deteriorates, are they going to have emergency services?
No, and what that does is the individual or individuals that went out joyriding just to see what their shit could do, it'd be like, hey, now you just cut off this whole neighborhood of people that could be needing with emergency services. Or they may have to go the longer way. And if you've got an emergency, let's say, that needs to be handled within 15 minutes, and now you're not getting a response for 30 or 35 minutes because they got to go in the back door, you may have just caused somebody the loss of their life. So we have to be cognizant out there to know that, hey, yeah, let's just go on Google and see the pictures if we can from the comfort of our house. Stay home. Roads are closed for a reason. It's not to see how many people can go past the barricades. But then again, we've got everybody out there doing, search and rescue, to where we're not going to stand at a road closed sign just to monitor it when we've got other needs going on. So if you choose to do that, then to me, you're endangering other people as long as yourself.
And really, we're all attempting to stay calm, cool, and collected in this time frame, right?
Yes.
I'm going to bring in somebody who's actually really has a great perspective, because he went through this with Charlotte County and Charlie. Not you yet. I'm going to bring you in next.
Good. Oh, yeah, this is Wayne.
So Wayne Saladay is going to give a quick update on really why it's important for people to pay attention to what's going on right now, so that emergency services and rescue can take place. Wayne, go ahead.
Let me give you, John and guys, what I think is some hopeful news on the meteorological front. Ian is now dead. Ian is a post-tropical remnant over South Carolina, and that's important because everything that has been training into that storm, and I'm telling you, things are horrific right now in North Carolina and much of South Carolina, where they are flooding big time. But anyway, my point is that fetch off the Gulf that has plugged up Charlotte Harbor and the rivers and the creeks and everything else is not there. So the plugs are out. And I'm hopeful, barring any more additional rainfall, that you'll see a slow process of drainage over the next several days. It's not going to happen immediately, but I do believe that you might have seen the worst of that. However, I will tell you, with something we've never seen before in my 35 years of government down there, having been in Charlotte County government for 40 years, we've never seen the kind of sheet flow runoff that we are seeing now. Water has left the banks of canals and creeks and rivers, and if you think it's bad in Northport, you guys ought to be up in DeSoto County. They've never seen it like this. The Peace, Horse Creek, all of the creeks are way, way over their banks, and everything is flooded. There's not a passable road in DeSoto County. And so I know that probably doesn't make you feel any better, but just know you're not alone. John, as I told you and I told Rich, I've been in fairly constant contact with Sarasota County Emergency Management. And I said, and I've heard the story about how they had to take buses in high water to get people out of one of your special needs shelters and move them to another. But they're well aware of what's going on down there. And everybody thinks they're being forgotten, but you're not. There's just so much going on. You know, Venice was very hard hit, not significant flooding, but they had a tremendous amount of wind damage up there. And but help is on the way. Is the Guard in Northport? Has the National Guard made it to you guys yet? Can't hear. Can't hear you guys. Audio's out. Your audio's out.
All right, can you hear me now, Wayne?
There you go. Yes.
Okay, yeah. National Guard came in last night and was working through our curfew, and then they're working through today. Again, trying to help with some road closures and getting people going. But they are here. They are on the ground.
What
So
about staging? What about food, water, and ice staging areas? You know, they are distributing it at Charlotte Sports Park. Are they doing anything at your stadium up there? Have they set up anything at that stadium yet?
The only thing that they had set up at the stadium was when FPL came into town. That was their staging area, and we are working. We've had meetings all day long, and we're working on getting with the Salvation Army to have distribution points for water and food, and we just don't know exactly where we're going to be at because with our devastation, we've got a lot of trees down and access to get to certain places. So we got to make sure that they can get there fairly comfortable, get their necessities, and then get back home fairly comfortable. And right now, it took, Wayne, honestly, yesterday it took me an hour to get from my house to City Hall. That's normally a 15-minute drive. So we're just trying to make it as easy as possible. So over the weekend, I hope to have some stations set up, and then throughout all next week.
So I want to bring Chris Hanks in real quick because Chris was here for Irma. So can you kind of talk about what you've done today? How did your morning start?
Well,
and how did your day go?
Right. Well, let me just say that to address kind of Wayne's thing, and Pete knows a little bit about this, but during Irma, Irma was kind of an unprecedented thing for Northport. And so at that time, because it came in just south of us. And so we, at that time, Wayne, we worked on, I think I was the mayor just before that, but I was still a commissioner, but we worked on getting that distribution out, exactly what you're talking about. And I'm sure the new city manager and the mayor is doing a phenomenal job on that, because we had an infrastructure that he helped us, that the mayor actually helped me put in, that helped do this stuff along with the other commissioners. So I'm real confident in how our city has responded to this. But to go with what John was talking about. So I left my house. I've got a large pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, large. I mean, it sits high off the water. And I will tell you, I drove from about Salford. I live east of Toledo Blade. I'm District 2. I was a District 2 commissioner. I live east of Toledo Blade, but my mother-in-law and my sister live over between Salford and us. And it probably took me about an hour and a half to get to my sister. I could not make it to my mother-in-law the first day. I would say 80% of the city that I transferred, which is about a third of the city, and I had to take every road because of the way the waters were, I would say was about 80% was up to the hood of my truck, and my truck has 20-inch rims. So I have a huge rim. So I'm sitting up, and I'm not a monster truck, but I'm a tall, a factory built truck. And about 80% was there. I would say every time I left my house, as of this morning even, I left my house at 8:30. I haven't almost been home other than to drop my wife off, because even when I go to my house, there is a drainage ditch that is flowing so heavy that I was heading home with my wife, and a woman had just tried to cross and was floating down the river. I had to literally jump out there and put a hook on her car while she was crawling out the window. I have not left yesterday to today, Wayne, I have not left my house that I have been able to go home within a period of 7 hours, because there's just people yesterday, people in the middle of Price. The water was flowing, Price and Haberlin, the water was flowing into the windows of their car. I had to pull up and just say, crawl in the back of my truck. And they had to crawl out of the windows to the back of my truck. And I think the fear now that the mayor's going to talk about that, I think they've done a phenomenal job. I think the new city manager, the commission we have today, the mayor we have today is the perfect commission for what we're going through, because I think they've got things really set in stone because of what Pete and the commission and I had done in the past. But I'm telling you, what's coming could possibly be even worse. And I think they've got really what they need in stage for that. With this water coming back in. I think that might be what you guys are going to talk about next. But it's been bad out there. I drove to the mayor's house today to come here, and I don't know the name of the park, but there is a mobile home park. And I'm not kidding you, Wayne. There are entire mobile homes blown across the street into the houses across the street.
Yeah.
And that's all over. I got a friend up in Venice, and even though Venice didn't make parts of it did get very bad, but some didn't. But even those mobile home parks, Wayne, I mean, I got a friend that has stayed in the pool area there, you know, the little pavilion there, or the building, because her home is completely destroyed. You know, I think it's just been horrible.
You're muted. Unmute yourself, Wayne.
I'm sorry. We lost 11,000 homes in Charlotte. I'm afraid that's going to pale in comparison to this. I don't think Charlotte has lost 11,000 homes. However, their West Charlotte County, very close to you, has been devastated. The mobile home parks along 776
Yes.
that did not get hit by Charlie, went through like you did, Winnie the Pooh's blustery day. They got clobbered.
That's
And
where my house is, right on 776, just inside of Northwood. Yeah,
it's real bad. It's really, really bad. And now they're getting what I had said earlier. They're getting a lot of that sheet flow runoff from the Mayaca is coming down. And so everybody, I don't mean to be snarky, but everybody's in the same boat here. It's just this is such a Charlie was, it lasted for an hour, and I talked to people that were in their homes, in their closets for 14 hours during Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And that works on here. I mean, you just can't get that sound of the wind out. But
I still hear.
I want to urge you guys, do me a favor. Please pace yourselves.
Yes.
I know what you're trying to do. And I've been there, done that. I went 10 days, 20 hours a day when they escorted me out of the EOC and sent me up to Sarasota to get some rest. And I came back and I made a hard and fast rule with my staff and everybody. I said, you will not henceforward work more than a 12-hour day. You will not. And so, do what you can now while things are imminent. But as things start to wind down, pace yourself.
Yes,
Because
Wayne, it's
you
so
will.
hard. Wayne, when
I
you
know.
leave your house and there's somebody in a ditch, I encourage everyone, to help in the way they can. But you're absolutely right. We can't make ourselves in such a position that we can't help.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And Wayne, I said that to the city manager the other day. I said, I know you've been working hard, and I said, go home, get some rest, let your family enjoy you for a little bit, because we got to hit this again tomorrow. I want fresh minds. Let's do the best we can. They nonstop since day one of the storm. They have been there 24/7. And now I know it's airing on all the employees, and they're trying to do their best, and everybody's out there for the win for Northport. But I have to keep telling them it's not happening in one day. Let's get little areas. Let's get little accomplishments. And that's what we're working at right now, because if we were trying to hit it head on, are you kidding me? We would just frustrate ourselves for the next 2 weeks and get nothing done. So let's do it proper.
And this is going to be a long-term recovery.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not
A historical event here, big time.
Wayne, I think
In the city of Northport.
we're looking at decades of rebuilding.
in some cases, you're absolutely right.
Right.
Many areas.
I could take you to South Dade County and show you places that 28 years after Andrew still look like the storm went through.
I'm sure.
So-
I'm sure.
So,
Guys.
yeah. But anyway,
Wayne, the city has a number that you can call. If you're in Northport, I'm only talking about, we have numbers you can call. We have access. As a matter of fact, just because that water's rolling in, we actually have crews going out to help folks right now, even before the water comes in. Those who want help to evacuate before the new floods come in. Pete, you can help with that better than me. But before they come in, I was working with you earlier. We have city out there to do that. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, we do. We got everybody out there. Anybody that comes in, I got calls earlier. If you have an area to where you can't get out, we'll come in. But we got to know if we're coming in there that you want to evacuate. And we've got people
Don't waste time.
that are committing to that, and that's no problem, because we're as I said, search and rescue is a very tough area when you don't have communications and you're out there trying to get to a house that could be 5 miles in, and you don't know if anybody's there or not, but you're just trying to check the path along the way because the communications are so shoddy. But while I got the floor, one thing that we did change is that at the Mullen Center, if you are looking to evacuate, you are to go to the George Mullen Center, which is over near City Hall. We have buses that will relocate you to the new shelter areas, which are going to be outside of town. I heard that it was Philippi Creek, something. I know there's a bunch of different things up there.
Philippi Creek, I think it's Philippi Creek Elementary and Venice High School are where they're talking about.
That's where we're going to take the people that wish to evacuate now that may not have anything. The only thing they did say was, bring some blankets, a change of clothes, pet friendly. So bring your pets as long as they're in cages. And they're facilitating that from the Mullen Center. So if you feel the need, use it. I don't want anybody to sit at home and be stubborn and lose their lives over this.
So I want to take a minute real quick because there is some importance to the pictures I'm showing. A lot of the devastation, but this particular picture, I want to explain this to people that is me in the gray shirt, not on the bike, but the gray shirt walking and checking out the surrounding. Right now, that surrounding is actually the backside of Kia. That's Hillsborough Boulevard. Okay. So I want everybody to picture the small canal that's running right now down next to Kia and next to the old hot dog stand that continues to swap things out. Okay. But if you looked at that canal, it might be 5 feet across. Okay. Now, up where I'm heading and looking, that's Coco Plum, but that's not Coco Plum next to the road. Coco Plum is another 30 to 40 feet inland.
Yeah.
So all this water is sitting there right now. So I'm going to explain this so that everyone understands why a road closure sign means something bigger than yourself. Where you think you're more important or a loved one is more important. Let's say that people continue to go down this road. The fastest way.
Look at right there.
Yeah, right there. Absolutely. It's deteriorating down where I'm at. Okay.
John, I've driven that a dozen times yesterday, just helping folks get out of there. And I've hit that a dozen times. And it's bad.
It's bad. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to tell people is that if you're going over these roads, let's say, first off, it lets loose the force that's going to come out of Coco Plum. How deep is Coco Plum?
35, 45.
All right. So you got 35 feet deep. You've got 45 feet across right now in some places or more. Okay. So, and an unbelievable amount of water in our full capacity waterways. Okay. Release that pressure down that small canal. And what will happen is complete devastation of that roadway, first off. Second off, you've just created lack of control for what we're trying to accomplish right now. So if we can continue to control the water where we want it to go, that's a good thing. We have no way of stopping a major flood downstream and taking people out.
Well, where you're at right there could cut us off on 41 if it's straight across.
Thank you so much.
That'll take us right out of being able to travel to Charlotte County.
That's exactly correct.
And then we're an island almost all to
ourselves. Oh, absolutely. That cuts off one end of our feed.
The Myakkahatchee on the other side between the West Villages.
Well, and if we're having sheep flow problems, that's coming from the north. We screw ourselves on the south. It's bad. It's bad. We got to prepare.
John, what people need to realize is we have 88 to 90 miles of waterways that zigzag. Yeah. I mean, you can take a kayak and go anywhere in the city you want if you're willing to move it just a little bit. And all that waterway has to have a place to go.
Well, nowadays you ain't even got to pick up that kayak. You can get in.
That's right. You can go anywhere.
Today, John, I mean, yesterday and today, I mean, I don't know. Yesterday, there were kayaks everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and if it wasn't for a truck my size, you weren't getting through anything.
Yeah,
so anybody that has less than I mean, I would say stay home. But anybody that has, if you're going to your family, I get it. I mean, listen, you got to protect your family, John. But the bottom line is, if you don't have, stop driving your stinking car. Stop driving your Cadillac. Stop driving your Hondas. Just don't do that no more because I've pulled out a dozen. I can't get home because I'm busy pulling out cars, John.
Right. Wayne, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I just I know that your message to people to the looky-loos just drive you nuts. I know.
I talked about that today. Go ahead.
Dealt with it with tornadoes and everything else, and it just is absolutely beside me why people insist on screwing up the emergency workers that are trying to move from place to place. But unfortunately, that's human nature, and I've got to run, but listen, I'm available anytime. I've got to be careful. I've gone 5 days now, 16 hours a day on Facebook. I've got now 32,000 plus people following my Facebook posts. So I created a monster I can't kill now, but nonetheless, we're praying for you. Anything that we can share with you, all you have to do is call me. I'm plugged in to the Charlotte EOC, to the Sarasota EOC. And so I am aware of what's going on with those two. Lee and Collier, that's a whole different world now. That's another world altogether. So
Wayne,
hold on. Another thing is I know my wife Elaine with the Sun has been in contact with you quite a bit. So I've been getting a lot of information from you, whether you knew it or not. So I have to thank you so very much for everything that you do.
Elaine and I, Elaine and I go back a long way when she
I-
was with us.
We're not talking ages here, sir, but yes, yes.
Wayne,
But I have to thank you so much.
Wayne, I've never
Thanks.
met you, but I do know about you, and I want to thank you again for the work you've always done and the communications you've always kept up with the public, and just the work you've done with the counties between the two. I thank you very much, Wayne.
Thanks, guys. All right. God bless.
Appreciate it, Wayne. I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
Okay, we'll do.
Bye bye. So I want to explain this picture here real quick because there is some real truth to this picture. So that water that you see up against the road, that's the expansion water
Yeah.
from the cocoa plum. If you look straight up, it's like a T. There's another path of water that's coming towards the cocoa plum. We want that to run parallel with the street, not across the street. Now, what's happening right now with this erosion, okay? And with people continuing to drive on it. So anybody who's out there who is attempting to go by it or wants to do something, why don't you just park your car there and make sure nobody drives it? Because I'm going to tell you right now, that waterway that we're looking at, that's called the Cocoa Plum, will demolish that bridge on 41. It will take it out.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
And because it's not designed, it's designed for certain things, but it is not designed to have that kind of erosion around it, because that one canal that you see going up the center of that picture, guaranteed that leads all the way to 75. So that's full of water to its maximum. And it goes on the other side of 75 too, I bet.
It's possible. It goes into different waterways. We got cosmic waterways. We got I can't remember the name of all of them. And some of them go, which comes down to here,
Yep.
which is the Cocoa Plum, and then we put it out to the river. Other ones go down and they go the back door and they go to Charlotte Harbor. But most of them come down here because we're feeding the water plant on Northport Boulevard to where that's our usage water. So it's designed to, we have an escape route, we have a usage route, but everything comes here. So if everything's sitting there, coming here, you know what happens when you pull the plug on something, and it's just going to rush.
And I will, 1 second, I'll go to you in a second, Chris, but I will add this because the guardrail that's across the street.
No, it's not. It's in the bottom of the water now.
No, across the street. That's still
okay.
up.
There you go.
If you look next to that, you'll see a little white dot, okay, in that picture. That little white dot is a suction pool.
Yep.
And that suction pool is what's keeping this roadway,
That little bitty spot.
that little bitty spot is taking all that water that's now not coming across the road. And if you were to go and listen to that, it's like listening to your bathtub release water times 5,000. I said that earlier. It's a wicked, wicked sound of a bathtub releasing water.
Yeah.
The pressure that we have on our roadways right now is almost unbelievable. And the things that have to happen to keep everything intact is that we have to keep
It's just now
everything.
flooding.
Yes, it's flooded.
All right, we're getting an
All right.
update. Hold on, we're getting an update. What is happening?
Here, Darlene.
Darlene Wilson, come on in.
No, come here.
Come on in,
No,
you're not
get-
on.
get
Go ahead.
over
I'm going to
here.
step out for a minute. I got to make a
Yeah.
couple calls.
All right, come
Yes.
back in and give us an update, Pete.
All right.
If you're listening right now on Facebook and you have any way of sharing this information,
Sit down.
please get your friends on, text them, let them know right now that there is some critical information coming right now, and it has to do with Cocoa Plum, I imagine. Come over here, Darlene, sit down. Yeah, come on.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Darlene, sit down.
She doesn't want to be on camera, but she's
You're in
on
the show,
camera.
Darlene.
This is wife 1A. Gotcha. By the way,
2A.
by the way, where do you live?
I live on Fountain Blue.
And please tell me what's going on.
My neighbor just called and said that we're already taking water on again, and it's not safe to be on Fountain Blue.
And so I want you, and I know this is very tough for you right now, but we were there. I was there. I checked your house. Minimal damage
Mm-hmm,
at best.
mm-hmm.
And what was your plan today? to go back home.
Yeah, I went back home finally. My
Yeah.
second try to get there, I couldn't get there in the morning because there was just too much water on all those side streets. But finally today I had to take the kind of the back roads to get there.
Right.
Drove through a little bit of water, but not scary heights or cleaned up the yard pretty well today. Tried to take care of some of the damage that I could. Did lift some stuff off the floors just in case the water rised again. I live on Blue Ridge Lake, which honestly I think saved us from being flooded because
It
I
did.
think the canals are the ones
Well-
that are really overflowing.
Well, they lowered Blue Ridge, just so you know, prior to storm.
Mhm.
Public Works lowered Blue Ridge 14 inches
Wow.
to take on the water and set that up. That came straight from Public Works on this show. And that's why I know exactly what we're talking about here is that they really worked hard to reduce the canals and to absolutely set the lakes up
Mhm.
to take in and absorb this water.
Yeah.
So what was the phone call that you got? What's happening in your neighborhood?
My neighbor called because she thought that I left for a little while, which I did. I left to come over here to maybe take a hot shower and get some food because I have no power, no water, no internet. And I literally left my house at 6:30, and she just texted me and said that it's already not safe to come back. Yesterday, the water came all the way up to the middle of my backyard, and I do live on the lake has probably a 15-foot drop.
It does. You're high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not.
And then the front yard,
Yeah.
apparently, probably from the canal, the water came up to the sidewalk. So luckily, no water in my house yet. But this really concerns me that it might come up a little closer this time.
And really, are your friends leaving? Is it to the point where they can get out?
I don't think so.
They're going to stay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm going to talk about that for real quick, but please, if you have a way to get people to watch this, I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for anyone who is out there and has the capability of listening that may not even be paying attention to the breakage that's happening on Coco Plum. Our water systems are at maximum. They are running the gates throughout 80 miles of canal at 100%, except there's one canal that's not. And that canal I showed a picture of earlier, and it's at the Price Boulevard and the Chamberlain area. There's two big dump trucks there. On one side of that canal, or of one side of that roadway on Price, that water is standing. On the other side, there's no drainage. That canal is dry. Gee, I wonder where all that excess water is going to go since that canal's not taking any on. I believe we've got a shift in everything that's going on right now. I was there. I saw it. I've got pictures. There is no doubt we're going to have some shifting of water. Now, if you're high enough, and I believe you may be high enough to withstand some of this, but we've got more water coming from north. I've got friends that are still out in the estates. After I get off the air here, we're taking the big truck and we're going in. But the first thing we're going to do is go to Darlene's house and check it out. And we can get in and get out because of the huge truck we have. And that's because of our mayor, our old mayor, Chris Hanks, and his ability to have this truck and get in and get out. But I'm going to tell you, though, if you have loved ones, if you have friends, if you have anyone that lives near the Coco Plum waterway or any of the other waterways,
Or
Myakkahatchee, I'm telling you, run from the flood. Run, get out. Okay. It's easier to go back home, and she's experienced it once. Okay. Where she was able to go back home because nothing happened, but she wasn't there and she was safe. Okay. It's going to happen again and you're going to be fine. But at the end of the day, let's say we take on a little water. Water is certainly better than hurricane. Okay. Because water can be fixed. Okay. Everything can be rebuilt,
But get out.
but get
Don't
out.
drown.
It's not worthy. And if you've got friends, if you've got family, they need to wake the hell up. It's not time to write it out because you've done it before. Stupid is as stupid does. That's all I'm going to say. What would be your advice?
Well, I wouldn't try to drive through the water if it's already too high. 'Cause
Correct.
I've seen too many cars get stuck in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's iffy, if you don't think you can do it, I would say don't do it and just stay home. It might be too late at this point for some
Yeah, just
people,
Ride it out.
What are you gonna do?
but if
What are you
it's
gonna do?
if it's shallow enough
Can you do?
and you can get out, then I absolutely get
Can you
out.
do?
But if it's iffy, I wouldn't try it. I would just stay home and do the best you can at home.
So I'm getting questions right now with Alicia. I am going to get Pete back in here. He's on the phone right now. Mayor Pete
Yeah,
I'm
Mayor
coming,
Pete.
I'm
is
coming.
going to
Yeah,
step
here
in and
comes
give an
Mayor
update.
Pete. Oh, come back in.
But
Mayor Pete.
Close
Come
that
back
door.
in.
Close that door. So
All right.
we're getting noise.
that's
Come
right.
here.
This is breaking news. Please share this. Get this information out. It is mission critical for a lot of people who live in that area.
Diet Coke.
Can you talk a little bit about what's happening right now? What was the update that you just got?
I didn't get an update right now because I think I left my phones in here. I needed a cigarette.
All right.
And but I will have more updates. But what I was hoping to do with this show was, I know earlier you had questions and stuff, so let's set up a time where we can go ahead and do another show to where the citizens can give questions to where I can at least try to answer them as we go, because I can give the same update over and over again. Just stay home, be safe. We really we're on top of everything as best as we can, and we're reacting to the situation as it happens, but we cannot predict the future.
Correct.
It's so very tough right now. And I tell you, the devastation that we're already dealing with it's phenomenal. And we've got a lot of support helping.
Do you think that because I know that people are asking questions all of a sudden because of this. They're asking Highlands. You're high and dry right now.
Highland Ridge is okay. We've got a lot of trees and stuff down. That's old neighborhood by the Boys and Girls Club.
Are you projecting something happening there?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't believe so, because our drainage is very good over there. And the night of the storm, I did go out back about 10, 11 o'clock, and the ditch was full, which is like an R ditch behind my house. That was full. It was intruding to the backyard. My driveway was having water probably halfway up the driveway. And then I sort of got a couple hours sleep and daylight came around. And when I got up, it was pretty much no water in the ditch and no water on the road, because we have underground drainage. Now that's a plus, but that's also going to back up once that's full.
Hey, Tammy, can you give me an update on exactly where your house is, what it's off of, and where you're near, please? We're going to look the address up just to make sure we're giving you up-to-date
Well,
information.
it says McCoggy Drive,
Yeah,
so
McCoggy.
she's right on the McCoggy waterway.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they'll airboat about.
Yeah.
Do you have an address?
You have a number.
I got it right here. She's giving the address
Oh,
right
there you
here.
go. There it is.
Okay, and he's ready to evacuate at this point.
Please give us that information ASAP, Tammy.
ASAP.
If he is ready to go, they will go get him.
We got the mayor on the phone now. So
We were trying to get people out.
River Road, Canal and back. River in road, canal is in the back. So the river's already in the road. The canal is in the back. It's already pushed to the front of the house.
Okay, now the only thing I can tell you is I cannot promise to speak for emergency services. I know they were trying to get out and get some people that they'll take your dog. The thing about it is they were trying to get to as many people before it got dark. It is very, very hard to go out there in these different areas with being dark. So let me go ahead and pass that on to them. He's ready to evacuate,
And he wants to evacuate.
And-
That's key too.
It is
He
key.
needs to want to go.
Yeah,
We can't just send emergency services out there, then they say no, because then we're taking it away from someone who actually wants to go.
and he needs to get out. If that's the case right now,
Give me the address.
it is right here. We're doing this
I
live
got
on
it.
the air. Sorry, Tammy, but
Yeah,
we are
it's
trying to assist as much as we can. All three of us, I tell you right now, all three of us we've been working at this all day, trying to help assist people get things done since the hurricane.
Yesterday. Yeah.
It's amazing that the lack of rest I've gotten.
We're all in the same boat. John.
Everybody,
quit it.
everybody.
I mean, quit it.
Yeah, stop trying to
Okay.
get all the attention.
I might be. You never know. But at the end of the day, we're not the only three. We have so many people to thank that are out there in our community. I was at Tarpon Point today. Tarpon Point took on water. I showed you those pictures earlier. At the end of the day, they donated perishables out of their refrigerator and said, please take them somewhere and give them to people. I did that all day. Seriously, it's everybody out there. Tarpon Point has done everything. The owners have committed to coming back. But I'm going to tell you, if things are going to flood harder, they're going to get re-hit with water. That's already happening in the Port Charlotte region, right? Where they're getting some double hits on flooding. Now we're experiencing the same thing. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, the emails or the messages have been sent, man, and I'm just waiting on a reply from the city manager. That's who I go through, and we'll hopefully get to you as soon as we can and get that taken care of.
That was from Kathy Anderson. Hi, Kathy. I hope you're okay. Please text and let me know. I'll let Amy know. I do work with him, or with Amy and her husband. I mean Kathy and her husband. Sorry, Kathy. I'm trying to read double things over here. Phone not working. I'm going to keep trying. That's what Tammy said. So Tammy, whatever, we're working on getting help out to him ASAP.
And also, just
Go ahead.
to be honest, my phones have not worked very well all day and stuff. It's going through now, so be patient. I mean, I've had very crappy service. The lady that just posted about 5649 Abelman, I have sent that forward to. So, again, no guarantees. I don't know if they shut down at night, but they will get there as soon as they can, and you are on the list.
And Tammy, please do this for me. My cell phone, 941-391-4663. Please text me if that occurs. Please text me, okay? 941-391-4663. And just text me. I'll get a hold of Pete. I'll let him know. I want you to feel like we're doing something for you. We're right here doing it live on the air. And Pete, thanks.
No, and when we get off the air, I'll make my phone call and check in, or I'll leave and you can keep going. It doesn't matter to me. I'm here. I've always been wanting to help everybody, and we're doing the best that we can.
You're in the great. Okay, Lakeside blessed. Yes, we are definitely Lakeside blessed. I'm right here at the entry point, down by the mobile station. So we have been blessed here. Everything is going swimmingly. I shouldn't say that during a flood, should I? Swimmingly?
I wouldn't
Swimming.
swim.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't swim. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me just say, John, please don't take any of our levity seriously. We hadn't seen each other for a long time. We've been going through this for 48 hours. We haven't slept. We're trying to just find a little bit of good, a little bit of humor in a lot of tragedy. So please don't take any joke seriously. But we are here for you. If you need anything, I guarantee you, the mayor, Pete Emmerich, and the commission we have now will do everything that they can for you, along with the city manager and the staff of our city.
Kathleen, who's also a Remax agent, can you answer her question, please?
It says, how much water are they expecting to rise tonight in the estates? We have no clue on the expect risings. We don't know. It could be an inch. It could be a
It's
foot.
unprecedented.
It all depends on the slough up north and what's coming down. It all depends on rainfall. We have not had any, thank God. But if we have another inch of rain, that changes the table quite a bit. If we have 5 inches of rain, that even more. So we, like I said, it's the hardest part is predicting what's coming. We have to hit it on the spot, be reactive for when it does come, and do the best we can with what we got.
One of the things we're really not trying to do is overemphasize and scare people.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying
Right.
we're flooding. We don't have that going on.
Right.
We may have a slight rise. What I said earlier in the show was, if you see the water rising and you feel you need to go, that's your decision. We do not have any mandatory evacuations going on.
Is there any specific areas, Pete, that you know that you expect to possibly rise a little bit? Like I know
Well, the estates,
Commissioner Carasone was concerned because she was literally called, and said to move her, remove.
well, the estates is always a hot spot because that's the first leg in from the slough.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything's out there. So there you've got that area that right near Sumter and 75, which has what the Lady Slipper,
Lady
that
Slipper.
area.
That's
That's a
already
low-lying area. And I didn't even expect McKibben to be that bad, but with holding the water down in Public Works, I can't give them
I
enough
did talk
kudos.
about that.
They kept the lake down as much as they could.
They dropped it 14 inches.
Yes, and that's unprecedented because then we could possibly find a fish kill and get fined for that. But that's besides the point. We prepared and we got it down, and now we're having flooding in the McKibben area because of that lake, and we overemphasized our preparedness for that. So, it's a shot in the dark. We did our best, and now we just got to work with what we got. It's tough. It's very tough, and I feel for everybody. I went out yesterday afternoon or 2 days ago after this first thing hit, and I had a press conference, and I was riding back home with my wife, and tears came to my eyes like 3 or 4 times because I'm like, I've been here 40 years. Look at what's happened to my town. It was heartbreaking. It really was. Now it's up to me to figure out how we can fix that with our staff and everybody's doing a phenomenal job. You don't have nothing but the best people working for you right now to fix what's going on.
John, you know what folks don't realize is, all right, so when this storm blew in, it pulled the ocean, I don't know how far out, because all I
Tampa,
remember seeing,
all the way to
Oh
Tampa.
yeah.
well, I remember seeing it hundreds of yards past the Sharky's Pier, right?
Right.
That's where I live. So I don't know how far out it was. I just saw pictures. All right, so we have to understand that now that water's coming back in. We also have that storm moved up north. Everything from Georgia south, everything from Georgia flows into us. So all that storm water went up north. All that water has to go to the ocean, and it takes Florida to do it. It goes through all those canal systems, through our water table, all that. Now where we're at down here, we're only a few feet above the water table. So now when I was walking before the storm, John, in my backyard, water was squirting through my toes before it even stormed. So we were already at complete and utter saturation.
Well, we went through 3 days of light rain, which does nothing but saturate it even worse.
Light rain just saturates because it doesn't run off. It doesn't
Right.
have time to do so. And so, so that's what we're seeing is all this water is starting to come down from the north. The ocean's starting to pull up. And so it's beating together, and it's creating this coalescence of water that is just going to start piling together and rising up. Now, in my area, I haven't been home since I met with you, John. It was going down. Pete said his was going down, but I read multiple times. I had a couple of phone interviews where the Peace River was rising rapidly. So, it is important that we pay attention to what's going on, but the most important thing is do not panic. Do not panic.
So those of you who are listening right now, I want you to, this is WKDW Real Talk Radio 97.5 FM. We are not trying to panic people.
No.
We are not trying to push them out.
Just trying to give information.
But here's what I want you to realize.
All right, hold on here.
All right, another update. Here we go.
All right.
Only on John Rollins.
No,
Live updates.
One second.
But yeah, you should
All right.
not have John. There's
All right,
no-
Hold on. Here we go.
All right.
Sorry.
No, I was just trying to fill the dead space. Please.
It said the team went out to the address you gave me earlier. If those two need evacuation due to medical emergency, they need to call 911, or everyone that puts in right now will be on the list for tomorrow because
It's too late.
they will not go out at night unless it's a medical emergency.
So
And then you need to call 911, or if you're looking to get evacuated, call the 429-7000 number throughout tonight and tomorrow and get put on that list, and then they will come pick you up.
Perfect.
I want to point something out in this picture real quick, just so it puts perspective on everything. So the wide waterway, you see the roadway, you see the little breach here where the pool of water is. I'm standing down here on the street. I'm the little white dot on the street. And again, the little white dot, but that's Cocoa Plum. And by the way, there's only one canal there. We don't have canal frontage homes. Those are all streets filled with water.
Yeah.
This is the problem we're having right now that's not being addressed on national news. They're not talking about us. And I said this earlier, and I'm going to be really cautious about how I say it again. Okay. I am not saying that we're comparable to the threat that they have down south, but we have real disaster happening right here. And some of it is life-threatening because we can't get emergency services back. So it is very important that we do keep what road is left available so that if there is an emergency service available to get back there on that particular road, think about people first. Don't think about yourself. Survive the water, survive the flood. This is not rainy water, not windy, and a hurricane situation. This is flood water, so go higher. And if you had to go up on your roof tonight, don't go inside your roof unless you have access out. And my son brought up a great point. If you've got a battery operated Sawzall, take it with you. If you've got a hammer, hit a seam.
Good.
But all those things matter when you get up into the attic of your house. If you're involved in a flood, you have to have a way out. And because they're not going to hear you. Sledgehammer, whatever you need to do, a roof is easily replaced. If that water's coming up that high, it doesn't matter. And make sure you don't be gentle and take something so that at daylight, they hear you beating on it, because there will be airboats. And by the way, last time I checked, airboats are not quiet. Okay. So they're going to have to slide up, turn off the motor. And that's when you want to start banging, because you're going to hear them. You're going to hear those airboats. And you got everything, Dad?
No, I'm pretty much done. That's all we've got for today. Right now, we're continuing on trying to figure out what we need to do tomorrow.
What time tomorrow can we do an update?
I don't know. Whenever
you want to do 9 a.m.
Are you shitting me?
Nope. I'm not.
I don't know. Let me see what I've got. You know how many phone calls I got to return
4 million
tonight?
and 2.
Yeah. Let me figure out what my schedule is tomorrow. Maybe in the afternoon.
We're gonna set a time. Okay, we're gonna set a time.
I can't set a time without looking at my calendar.
Here's the thing, John,
I can't.
Is that the Mayor Pete Emmerich has been very active in helping this community.
100%.
As you know,
Yep.
He's out there with everything that they can do. He's got a lot going on, but I assure you that our city is under control. There is nothing to be concerned about in the sense of if you feel threatened, you make a phone call. Do you have a phone number, Pete, that they can call? Just 911, you said, right now?
No, 429-7000.
Yeah.
429-7000
is the contact number. And maybe in the afternoon, early afternoon, I can figure something out for you, John. But I'm usually going to have my updates in the morning, figure out what's going on.
I will also tell you,
and I cannot predict what time the EOC is going to have updates either.
And I will tell you that the mayor has been very active in moving around the city to see how things are going. And I'm greatly appreciative.
No, thank you
for that, Pete. Yeah.
And seriously, we will get something arranged, whether it's a specific time, but I'll do my best to try to get a notice out ahead of time and get a push out, and I'll put some dollars behind on the advertising so that everybody's aware that we're setting up a show. We'll try to give a range. Okay.
And I would say maybe 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's good.
That may be good. And I could sort of commit to that, to where we can do questions and answers. Absolutely.
All right. One last question, because this has to do with evacuation.
There was no mandatory evacuation by the city.
Yeah. So
anywhere in the city.
Nothing mandatory.
But if you feel the need, what's the number?
429-7000, and get on the list.
Or 911.
Or 911. Yep. If it's a medical emergency.
Yes.
911.
911, they will come right now.
Please take care of your loved ones if they need rescued. The most important part of that rescue is the word, yes, I'm ready to go. If they're refusing to go, they will not take them, and your loved one will have wasted an opportunity to save someone else.
429-7000. If you want to be rescued, say yes.
That's all right, Kathleen. I appreciate everything you're doing. We love the questions. Everybody, thank you so much. I am exhausted. I know Pete.
Yeah. I know we're very limited on phone and stuff like that because
I don't even have service at all.
It's very tough to get through. So, like using John, that's great.
Yes.
He knows how to get in touch with me. We're one-on-one with each other.
Can I say one thing?
And I can move it along the way.
And just before you know, because I'm east of Toledo Blade, I'm District 2. I have no service. If you're on AT&T, certain services, you have no service, no text messaging, you have no data. But I will tell you, Coco Plum has everything you need. They were open this morning, even for food. But you had to wrap around the building a couple times.
Well,
We made it-
over
we
here.
made it-
Publix over here on
We made
Toledo
it on
Blade.
Publix.
Oh, Toledo!
No,
I didn't even know they were
Yeah.
open.
we made it to Publix on
Okay.
Publix on Sumter, and they were open from like 11 to 2. I had just
Okay.
left the EOC pulled in.
Good.
We were in for 15 minutes, and then they were shutting down. But
And then
we,
Toledo Blade's open
All right,
now.
we got a
they
few
weren't open
things.
this morning.
So but I'm going to say something else.
it's going to be spotty.
It's going to be spotty, but I'm going to say this. You hoarders out there,
Stop it.
stop hoarding the freaking food.
Take
Okay.
one package.
As long as we can keep the shelves
Eat
supplied,
one meal a
everybody
day.
eats. That's right.
All right, but
Go to intermittent fasting. It'll help you.
all right. Here's a true story before I leave, because my life has been a circus ever since I met my wife. But we're
Mine has too ever since I met your wife.
Mine too.
I know. we were in the Publix, and I was mainly there to get smokes, of course. And she goes, "Well, let me look around." I go, "Okay." And I found her. I'm finding my wife, and she's walking with 2 freaking frozen pizzas. And I go, "Elaine, what the hell are you going to do with frozen pizzas? We don't have a stove." She goes, "Oh." And then this guy comes around. He goes, "You ever had pizza on the grill?" I go, "Yeah, one time," and I'm still scraping that sumbitch off it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
At least you didn't tell the other pizza story.
But anyways, we got frozen pizza at the house.
That's right.
Come
So
on over. I'll give you
listen-
the address.
listen,
later.
I'm very serious about though. People out there, when you have food at home and you're going to buy more because you think you're going to be without, holy cow, we just got hit by a Cat 4.
Yep.
Really a Cat 5. They're going to adjust it. Okay. And just so you know, our stores are open. Seriously, slow
Get
down
what you need.
Take
for
a deep
one
breath.
day.
and
But
just
it
relax.
lasts
John, I
3.
said this earlier on the radio with the one lady that said she was accurate. Ms. Leslie Williams put it on Facebook. We survived a 4.95.
5.
Cat. So we are there.
Listen,
We are
there's
there.
a difference, John, between starving and hungry. It's okay to go a little hungry.
Yeah,
Don't
but you're
starve.
not
You'll
gonna
never
starve.
starve right now.
Not
Yeah,
bodies.
maybe not another few
Listen,
months. You might-
Just so you know,
Let's look around the room
Yeah,
here a
we're-
little bit. I think
we're
we
not-
got to do.
just so you know,
Maybe so.
what day are we on post hurricane?
I guess
Day
they're
3?
calling it day 3.
Day
Is what
3?
they're
All right,
calling
so
it.
we're day 3.
I don't even know. I've been awake the whole time.
Well, day of the event is supposed to be 1, then day 2, and then I think we're on day 3.
So let's just call day 2 cleanup. Okay. Day 1 disaster. Day 2, 3 cleanup. Our stores are open.
Yep.
Now, if you
All
don't
of
think that we're not getting somewhere amazingly quick, our stores got hit by a Cat 5, Cat 4.95.
Yes.
However you want to put it out there, stop being silly. There are people out there that lost everything, and they are the ones that need the food. So please, even if you've lost food and you're taking it home and you have no refrigerator to put it in, are you kidding me? Don't waste it. Waste not, want not. Okay.
Can I say one
Go
more?
But
ahead.
hey, with that being said, people, survival is survival, and people are going to look to survive for themselves. But if you have a little bit extra and you see one of your neighbors that may not have that, or may not have been able to get out of their house because they don't have a vehicle or whatnot, just check in on them and say, "Hey, are you okay? I got 2 loaves of bread today. Here's 1." You know, just look to help the neighbor, and just be. We are a community of unity.
Come together.
So let's come together. We'll do the best we can to make sure everybody has what they need. They may not have what they want, but they'll have what they need.
Good job, Pete.
And
You know,
can I
that's
say
my
one-
goal.
Go ahead.
One more thing, folks. I want to really shout out. Pete mentioned them earlier, but I want to shout out Greg Stubbe. I want
Yeah.
to shout out James Buchanan specifically.
James is on our side. I've talked to him multiple times.
Yes, Mayor Emmerich and our Florida Congressman James Buchanan have worked to put Northport on a priority list with the entire state of Northport. So I want you to know, yes, the governor is listening to you today. They know the devastation we're under. I know Fort Myers is taking most of the. Listen, they took the brunt. I'm not taking away from
They're
them.
taking a lot of the acclamations
Listen,
because
I've got friends down there. I understand the devastation.
they're on the water.
But my family lives here, so we are concerned with you. This is our city. And James Buchanan, me and
all of them. I mean, Rick
me and the
Scott,
mayor spoke with Rick Scott.
he's reached out to
Yep.
me. Senator Rubio, they've all reached out
All
to
of
me, and I
Phenomenal.
passed all their information and support on to the EOC and back again if we needed anything from the EOC. I touched base with them, and everything is working very, very in
Perfect.
good harmony.
Thank you, Mayor. And Greg Stubbe effectively, 3 days ago, came to our community to
Yeah.
address this situation
Yes.
with the mayor. And so, with the mayor and some others. But thank you.
And I look forward to tomorrow. I really do, because tomorrow we're going to see whatever happened tonight.
Absolutely. And I want to put to rest a lot of, we don't know what's going on with the flooding. We will know by tomorrow what's going on with
It's
the flooding.
unprecedented. This has
Yes.
never happened in the history of our community.
Stay off the roads. It's a curfew at 8:00. If you're brilliant enough,
I'm with the mayor. It's okay.
Well, that's okay. If you're brilliant enough to figure out that you can drive down some of these roads because you got that big truck and you're pulling a heavy equipment behind you to go help somebody, keep in mind most of our roads are not in great shape. We're underwater.
Just be careful.
And you've got to obey the signs. You really got to obey the signs, and you really got to share that information out, that if a road is closed, there's a reason. If the road is closed and there's still a way in, that's for emergency services to go on.
What happens, John, is people take the side of the road and it cuts down the shoulder or the grass on the shoulder, and over about 100 times it completely destroys the underpinning of our streets. And that's why you saw the thing you showed, because people were going to the left side heading in to get around the major flooding of the Cocoa Plum.
Right.
And it started to crush because they were hitting those shoulders. They were hitting the ditches. It began to crush the ground underneath the street, and it began to collapse the streets.
And
Well,
that water
this
coming
is
across
a true
too.
story too. The neighbor came over and they've got a palm tree that's laying in the road, and cars have had gone by that. Well, they've hit up on the curb, and there's a nice little embankment. I go, shit, that's bigger than the second turn at Daytona.
That's there you go.
You know, and they're trying to weave around a palm tree.
All right. Well, listen. Now we're into jokes, and we're into the reality.
We're 48 hours without. Please don't
Oh,
take anything.
no.
So 48 hours without sleep.
We will be back tomorrow. Rich Suggs will be on the air.
We love you guys.
RJ is
We're
going to
here
be
for
on
you.
at 9 a.m. Please follow what WKDW is doing. There's 3 of us that have active capability of going live on the air. 4 of us counting Marie when she gets electric back in her house and internet. But seriously, just so listeners out there that are part of the WKDW family, Bud Buckley and his wife are fine. They had 3 broken windows.
Yeah.
So if you were worried about them in their mobile home, they did come out of it okay.
Praise
And
God.
I did see
Praise
him.
God.
And I got to believe that I was at that location and he was walking down the street at that right time so that we could see each other. Now, the funny thing is we couldn't go over and give each other a hug. I talked about this earlier. I couldn't go give him a hug because we were stopped by the major down high voltage wires going in between those roads.
Yep.
That's the other side of this. If you're
It's
going
all
out,
over
that's
the place.
that's also why you don't go out at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cranberry, Chamberlain. Every major road has
Down one.
that I've been down has a major line down it. Be very careful.
Be very
where you
careful.
go.
But you
and
guys
drive slow, even when it's dry, because you don't know where those lines are, and you
That's right.
can't see them when you're doing 45.
Right. And listen, have a good night.
God
Relax.
bless y'all.
God bless you guys. Thank you guys for coming on
You're
so
in
late.
charge of his ass.
I
for
know,
the rest of
boom.
the night.
I'm done.
Yeah.
But I need his badge.
Yeah, I'm gonna flash his badge here and there. But you guys have a good night. I appreciate everything. I really do, and I appreciate you listening in.
Hey,
I
at least I hadn't seen you in a while.
That's
God
right.
bless you.
There you go.
God
Hey.
bless you. I hadn't seen you in a few years.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I will-
Thank you for enduring everything that you are enduring. And just know that we are doing everything that we possibly can. I swear to you that everybody is working 24/7 on your behalf.
Tammy, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Please make sure you call that number 429-7000. Anybody needs that number. That's the number to call if you need assistance. If you're in extreme emergency, 911.
And we're gonna try to come back on in between that 1 and 2 o'clock hour tomorrow, Tammy. And please let everyone know around you, so that they can get the up-to-minute updates. I'm positive that Pete is going to go in for meetings, and there's going to be more information, water drops, different things like that. There's going to be more, and there's a lot of positive things that are happening behind the scenes right now that are actually going to be coming out.
And here's the
Seriously.
deal too, just as an nightcap. What we're worried about this evening could be just a worry. Tomorrow could be a nice day of sunshine, and all those problems have been fixed. It could be a different situation
Just
to
be
where,
vigilant.
to where people may not want to leave now because it dispersed. We're just working on a minute at a time right now, to be honest with you, because we can't even predict 30
It's
minutes.
unprecedented. It's never happened.
We
This
can't.
storm
So,
was the largest storm in the history of America.
so we're
Like,
doing.
how do you
crazy.
know what to do? Never hit our community, that's for sure.
But find out what's going on with your loved ones. They did go out and check that area, is what I was told. So, but it's dark now, so I don't know if they made contact or not. And just keep vigilant, like Chris said. And
Give your neighbors a hug and have a good
Yeah.
night.
absolutely.
Well, and rest assured too that the city has the very best working on it. That is something that our commissions over the history have always done. Is we make sure that our first responders are top notch. We are one of a dozen cities in the country that are Excelsior 1 or grade A rated. So we're here for you. I promise you. Please 429-7000 if you need help.
And these pictures, by the way, he just walked in the room, but my brother-in-law, Eric Davies, drove down straight after the storm got here, day one, post-storm. I'm just going to let him sit down here real quick because he's not from here. But can you tell us what your impression of what you took pictures of today
I'm going
was?
outside.
It's awful. It's
Were you prepared for it?
not really. I've seen stuff like that on TV, but not firsthand.
And taking the shots and then presenting them. These are shots that the nation really hasn't seen because of what's happening south of here. The devastation that was out there, the debris that was tossed everywhere. We went to the mobile home park. I know you weren't ready for that.
Right. It was a lot of lives turned upside down.
What would you tell people right now if they're out just trying to be looky-loos?
Stay home.
The other side of that is he's a licensed pilot. That's why I had him with me. I had my press pass. We got pictures. We got everything. And that's why we're doing this show. Share this information. These are true pictures of Northport. I've got more. I've got drone footage of shots. Actually, things happen for a reason. He drove down here. His way of volunteering is helping load the truck with all the perishables. His picture taking, his drone usage, physical labor, all the things that needed to happen for the last 48 hours. He's been in my truck with me. And anybody who knows me knows that my truck doesn't go off-road very often, but it's been on road, off road, pretty much for 2 straight days, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Because our roads are filled with water. They are receding. But I promise you this, I'm going to be back on the air. Rich Suggs will be back on the air tomorrow. We're going to have RJ back on the road, or back on the air tomorrow at 9 a.m. WKDW is trying its darndest or its damnedest to bring you everything we need to bring you. I'm going to let everybody go to bed. I'm actually going to drive out right now and try to save somebody else and take a look at some other devastation tonight. But I will keep you guys posted tomorrow. Love you guys. Take care. And join me tomorrow in between the 1 and 2 o'clock hour. I'll get that all worked out, and we'll see you soon. But take care. We'll talk to you soon.